I think you're going to ask me what we're doing this time.
I'm going to ask you what we're talking about today.
Yes. And then go ahead.
Hey, Jose, what are we talking about today?
Huh?
I said, what are we talking about today?
Oh, sorry, you have to press me for that.
Oh my
it's the
God.
E3 press conferences.
Set me up.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Set me up.
Yes, I totally did.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm going to leave that whole setup when I'm doing this edit. You know that.
I know.
What's up, everybody? I'm Jose, and like always with me, we got Adrian on the mic as well. So this week is going to be slightly, this month, this podcast, this thing that we do is going to be slightly different episode than our usual format episode. This episode is all about E3. We've let a week pass, maybe a little bit more by the time this goes out, since the event, so we can really take in the press conferences. We're going to go through each of them, discuss as much as we can, or at least the things we find most interesting. So yeah, this will be a longer version of the podcast, but there will be time codes in the description, so you can see everything that we discuss. If you want just a recap of one thing, you can just hit that time code below, or if you just want to hear that one thing. Yeah, cool.
Let's get started.
Yeah, all right. Let's start off with the pre-E3 Google Stadia event, as Google may have set some bars earlier that some companies are trying to compete. Stadia is the new upcoming platform, and here's what we learn. It's a subscription-based model with the price being about $10 a month. For this price, you get streaming up to 4K 60 FPS, free games as long as the service is active, and exclusive discounts. There's also a base edition that is regular streaming service that Google provides and includes free access to play games online, access to the Google Stadia library. Once you pay for a game, it can immediately be streamed. Once you pay for a game, it can be immediately streamed to play on any screen. That's a word. Won't come out until next year, though. The recommended minimum internet speed for a 720 resolution at 60 FPS is 10 megabytes per second,
Right.
while 4K is about 35 megabytes.
Sure.
Yep. A Google controller is going to be about $70. A Founder Edition will launch with Chromecast Ultra, a controller, 3-month subscription, a 3-month Buddy Pass, and a copy for Destiny 2, like anyone plays that. It'll have one user per Stadia with family sharing coming in the future. Games announced to be on the Stadia: Final Fantasy 15, Darksiders Genesis, Doom and Doom Eternal, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, new Tomb Raider series, Metro Exodus, Division 2, Guilt, a new game from Tequila Works, Get Packed from Moonshine Studios, Ghost Recon Breakout, and Baldur's Gate 3. Whew.
Woo. That was a mouthful.
Okay. No,
Right
I was
there.
able to get that last part fine.
I know. It was going through.
Last part was fine. Everything above, I had some stuttering problems.
Oh, you messed up one part entirely. You know?
Yeah, I know no one plays Destiny 2.
You were like, nobody plays Destiny 2. That was a mistake.
No.
It's
Anyways,
okay. Let me bear with you.
so Google-wise, anything we want to discuss from this event right here?
Yes. Actually, there's quite a bit I wanted to discuss about this Google Stadia from E3. Look, I am no longer going to shit on the Stadia. Okay?
Do you want me to do that?
No, I'm just going to look at it, just I'm trying to be biased about it. I'm very console, but the other side of it is that I'm looking at what they're promising, and I'm just like, that's impossible. That's impossible. It's impossible. You know my stance on it already. They say 0 latency, and I was like, there's no way. There's no way.
We've actually talked this before, I think in the previous when Google Stadia was announced.
When it first announced.
And yeah, no, I'm on the same with you. Funny enough, IGN does have a kind of a, what's the word? Comparison chart between the three.
I looked it up.
Yeah. Honestly, it doesn't seem that much of a difference, but I'm not that much of a computer guy to understand, like, how much of a difference is 10.7 teraflops of power, custom AMD GPU, 56 compute units, and HBM2 memory. That's with the Google Stadia compared to the other two, which is AMD
the other two
GPUs.
systems.
Yeah.
Well, what they're comparing is that they had this server farm running off, away from you. So it has all this power that's cool and that's nice and everything, but it's still going to come down to the stream service. You can have all the power in the world based off somewhere else in a cloud, but it's still going to have to perform when it gets to the computer. Meaning your computer won't have to do it, but you're going to stream 4K 60 frames per second, and you can tell me there's no stuttering, there's no screen tearing, there's no skipping.
It's funny, I was watching a little bit of people discuss wish-watching, which is what wish-watching is what people are doing with the Google Stadia. They're wishing it worked this well, because when you watch it, they're like, oh yeah, this control environment that we have total access to, the Google Stadia works great. It's not like we would plan this. People, when Google is at an event and they're like, hey, demo this, we have worked in the AV industry. Me and Adrian both know they practice beforehand and make sure it works fine. Make sure it works, and they have a controlled environment.
Yes.
This is not like them just going, hey, we're just going to try on the hotel's Wi-Fi or something.
We're just going to hook up on this 10 megabyte system and run this at 720 at 60 frames per second. I want to see that. I want to see them put through the paces. I don't want them to pull out the fastest terabyte Google Fiber internet to run their Stadia. No. I want to see it run 4K at 6 frames per second on this 35 megabytes per second internet, and I want it to run smoothly. As they said, I want to see it run smoothly. I want to play it, and I don't want to notice any latency between me touching the controller and control, because I've seen in videos the latency.
Yes.
It's the same problem the Project xCloud is going to have. It's the same problem that Remote Play does for PlayStation, which is pretty much the same thing, because it creates a server for your PlayStation back home, and you link to it on the internet.
Like, my thing is, and I think it was an article from The Verge. I could be wrong. If you want to correct me in the comments, that's fine. It was either The Verge or Polygon, which was, Google Stadia and these other streaming services are going to tell us how stupid the whole data cap limits are, which that's the best case scenario. If everyone is like, yo, we really want this Stadia. We want it so bad that we don't want data caps anymore. We need something better. We need unlimited speeds, That's the best case scenario. Then this works.
Like other countries have.
This works just fine.
Works just fine.
But we also have the other thing to consider is we have competitors. If the Stadia is not working for me or something, I'm just gonna be like, I'll go play on PS4. Yeah. Oh wait, I can't play on PS4. No one plays Destiny at all. So,
bruh, Destiny's coming back, especially with Shadowkeep in the fall. So y'all keep watch out for that, because it's gonna be dope. But I mean, the other side of it, because I said I'm not going to shit anymore, I think there's some good things that it offers that we should look at. I like the fact that you'll be able to play anywhere on anything, any system and stuff. It's just give me the truth, man. I know you got to sell it. Just don't falsely sell it to me, because you're going to have a lot more people mad if they buy it and it doesn't perform the way that they're expecting it or the way you were telling them it was.
Yeah, my thing is you have two huge companies, well, maybe three, so depending on where you live, going against each other.
Yeah.
Google, who basically owns a lot right now, versus the internet service provider. Google relies on internet service providers. So I'm not saying there might be any backdoor deals or anything like that. But, I mean, if they don't do it, these are two forces that what is the consumer going to want more of? More Stadia? Like, is it that much of a deal that we should get the Stadia? Or is it going to be you know what, this is hurting my data? Because even just today, I got an email from Cox saying, hey, you're using 85% of your data.
That's
if you go
where
over,
I was getting to next.
If you go over, we're going to charge you $10 per 50 gigs.
The whole problem with it is that it's always online. And it's not just bad because it's always online. It means you're streaming your game. You have to download the game. You're still streaming the game. All that uses data. I know with Cox, the regular plan, you have a terabyte a month. And after you go over that terabyte, they start killing you with charges.
Oh, yeah. $10
you watch
for
Netflix,
50?
You watch Hulu. If you're disconnected from cable and stuff, you're going to hit that data cap so fast, especially doing that now. Yeah. And then
And the thing is, I live with
what's going to happen after that?
Multiple people. That is not something that's easily be like, oh, we can all just stop.
Nope. And in case you didn't know, I called them one day, and that terabyte limit is for up and down the pipe. So if you upload to your cloud server, like your backup drive to Apple, and that's like a 200 gigabyte file or terabyte file almost, that counts. But I mean, there's some good things come up. I want to see it perform. I want to be able to play it on my cell phone, so I think it'd be cool. I would expect less. I will take the latency and stuff to play it on the iPad and my cell phone and stuff. But if I'm going to play it on my computer, I want it to perform the same way I would play if I did it directly from my computer, or if I was playing the console directly at home.
Yeah, right now, I think I would just be like repeating what we've said. And overall, my whole opinion is, Yeah. Speaking of EA, you know, EA. See what I did there?
Speaking of EA.
Oh, that's EA. Okay.
There we go.
My bad. The general feel you have for most of their games.
Because Anthem was so great.
Oh, let's not get started on that. Let's just jump into this, which was EA was not at E3 with a press conference. They were still there with EA Play. There they showed some original new indie games such as Lost in Random by developer FE, Rust Heart, a co-op action RPG, and said they're still working with Lite, who develop A Way Out. That's Joseph Fares, the dude who was like the Oscars.
That guy.
There's our one word. There.
There's that one to keep it PG-13.
It was quote at least to make a new title. A new expansion of Battlefield 5 that hits later this year. 15 minutes of Jedi Fallen Order gameplay. A new Apex Legends character named Watson, and FIFA 20 will take the game to the streets, known as Volta Football. That one I was a little confused because I'm not sure if it's FIFA 20 Volta Football or FIFA 20 with the Volta Football mode. The trailer kind of confused me and was one of those trailers I didn't want to watch again.
It made me seem like it was a standalone game.
Yeah,
but it might be. I think it's a separate game. What it looks like to me, it's like the NBA Streets games and stuff. You just like. With a 3-on-3 tournament and everything, you get to do all the tricks and fancy stuff and play like just like NBA Streets, you play like your and one and cross people and stuff. Looks like Volta Football is taking on that whole life of what's going on now with people. Yeah, pretty much playing soccer under the bridge.
It's.
I think it'd be a little fun side game to play because those games were fun to play.
I watched that trailer a couple times. First time I was like, because it was at the EA, and then I was like, oh, this looks cool. It looks like... I don't know if you've seen that trailer again since. That trailer's hard to watch. It legit, because of the flashing, and they're like, hey, by the way, seizures.
I'm about to say, it actually tells you right before it watches that be careful. There's a lot of flashing lights and a lot of stuff going on. Basically, epilepsy warning.
Yeah.
Before you start the
and
trailer.
I'm like, wow. Like, I was in a dark room watching this because I was like, like, I'm going through my notes, and I'm like, yeah, no, this hurts to watch. And I still can't remember. The effects were cool, though.
It's beautiful, well done. Looks like it's gonna be fun, but I
don't know what to say. There was not much to say about this. It's just like,
I mean, EA didn't show up very.
Yeah,
they had that press conference, but they didn't drop a lot of like
big news. I do feel like this was smart for them. Like,
yeah.
I don't think they really had that much like that people would want to see. Honestly.
I mean, the Jedi Fallen Order, even though it was like 15 minutes, that was a long time, but that was interesting.
It was like 13 minutes of the gameplay and then 2 minutes of another trailer, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a very Microsoft kind of like thing that they did. Speaking of Microsoft.
Never going to get all those roles in.
No.
Never going to get
I got to find a better way to transition with these.
No, it's a good transition.
I see your face. You're like, God, he's trying.
But I'm sure somebody's going to be like, that was smooth, bro. That was smooth.
Okay, so the
that
first...
was smooth, governor.
Governor? Really? Governor. Okay. So, yeah, the first official press conference of E3 was Microsoft with, let's see. Yeah, let's get to technical and
Microsoft had a pretty big showing.
Yeah, let's get to technical and business-wise stuff first. Xbox Game Pass, the Microsoft Unlimited access to a good amount of their game library to download. Think of it Netflix for games. Got 4 new games: Batman Arkham Knight, Metro Exodus, Hollow Knight, and Borderlands The Handsome Collection. Also announced a PC version for $5 a month, and Game Pass, Xbox Game Pass Unlimited, which will include Xbox Game Pass along with Xbox Live Gold, which gives free games a month, multiplayer access, and discounts for the price of $14.99. Double Fine Productions has been acquired as a first-person studio. Also, Microsoft unveiled their Xbox Elite Wireless Controller Series 2. The new controller comes with new trigger grips, a shorter trigger-locked rubberized wraparound grip, and even more paddle and thumbstick customizable options, including adjustable tension thumbsticks. In streaming news, Microsoft announced Project xCloud, a service to transform consoles into an xCloud server to stream games and media connected to the devices. and ended with the announcement of their new console, or at least giving us some info about what it's going to be. This was called Project Scarlet. This includes 8K capabilities, 120 FPS, ray tracing, shorter load times, 4 times as powerful as the Xbox One X, and a new generation SSD that is being used as virtual RAM. It has a new Navi graphics architecture along with Zen 2 CPU with new hardware from AMD. There was also a lot of games that were shown with release dates, including... Here we go. Ninja Theory's team-paced FPS Bleeding Edge with technical alpha on June 27th. Cyberpunk 2077 coming out next year. Minecraft Dungeons, The Outer Worlds, Orion, The Will of the Wisp, Blair Witch Project, Spiritfarer, Legend of Wright, Wasteland 3, Battletoads, a Star Wars Lego game that's including all 9 films, Microsoft Flight Simulator, Age of the Empire 2 Remastered, Way to the Woods, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, an RPG game, Gears 5 with a Terminator character pack, expansion to Forza Horizon 4 called LEGO Speed Champions, a Groundhog-like game called 12 Minutes, Dying Light 2, State of Decay 2's Heartland expansion, which was Shadow Drop, Tales of Ares, Gears Pop, Crossfire X, Phantasy Star Online 2, teaser for Elden Ring, and Borderlands 2 free DLC, which is connecting between Borderlands 2 and Borderlands 3. That was also Shadow Drop day of the conference.
Oh, that pre-sequel?
Yeah, you could technically call it that.
Microsoft. You had a big showing. A lot of fluff, but you did show up. I did like it. It was entertaining, the whole session. Microsoft did big as usual.
Is there anything here that you really want to talk about first?
Yeah, let's start with the Game Pass, actually.
Okay, cool. Go for it.
I thought the Game Pass was a really good idea on their part. I was the PC version.
Yes.
Is dope. My only gripe, and I don't know how the logistics of that works, but if they can get the whole Xbox catalog into the Game Pass for PC, it would be super dope. But then you have no reason to buy an Xbox.
Yeah.
But that would have been great to do.
The one thing, I don't know if the deal is still running, especially when this comes out, because we record like a week after, and then it takes some time for us to edit and put it out. But at the time, Xbox Game Pass, even the Ultimate Edition, was only $1, which was a pretty good deal.
Well, guys, if that is still running, you should jump on that. It is a really good deal. I did try it out.
Were you able to get in?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Well, I didn't get it for $1, but was able to try it out, and it's a great addition. If I had the $14.99 to have the whole thing for your Xbox and your computer, especially if you have an Xbox and a PC, it's totally worth it. It's a real good program by them.
Yeah, like, I was looking through, and I was like, I kind of want an Xbox now, because I got it for PC to try some of the game library, and I was like, yeah, you know what? Now I kind of want an Xbox. But yeah, this was a smart move for them. I can see, like, them slowly add PC games some more. And they do it regularly. I trust Microsoft to be regular about this stuff.
Well, they finally added the whole Halo collection, including Reach for the PC version, which everybody was so excited about. So, good on them. Good on them. Especially as we're moving towards...
I missed that. They did introduce... I'm sorry. They did also show Halo 5, at least an intro trailer or some kind of story trailer for the new Halo.
They showed Halo tease.
Yeah.
I like to call that.
It's going to be releasing with the new console.
The new Scarlet or whatever it's going to call it. Funny thing about that trailer is that I was watching it and I was like, this is cool. And then it said, this is all rendered with the gameplay engine. But then there was no gameplay. So then I was like...
It looks good, but you didn't...
Nostalgic for a second. I was like, oh, it's coming!
Especially when you hear
But they didn't show me anything, so...
Especially when you hear that Xbox, like, Halo song.
Yeah.
The one where you're like, when he's like, finish the fight, he turns around. It's like, something's... And they're going to jump in. They could totally do that. Jump into his helmet and you see gameplay, but they didn't.
I mean, we can pretty much reassure the gameplay is probably going to be...
Halo.
It's going to be Halo, so...
Yeah. Then I know you want to talk about this. You mentioned this earlier. I know you're really excited for this.
Bruh.
Funko Pop.
What? Funko Pop.
Yeah, Gears Funko
game
Pop.
Is coming.
No, I know you want to talk about the Xbox Wireless Elite Series.
You bet
2.
I do. You bet I do.
Okay.
Man, you know, I'm a aficionado of controllers. I have way too many controllers. And right before this was announced, I had just pre-ordered the Scuff Prestige Elite controller.
Okay.
Which Scuff works with Xbox to design the original Xbox Elite controller.
Okay.
Just bought that controller, and I was like, cool, I'm waiting for it to come in. And then they dropped this, and my mouth watered. And I was like, man, I got to buy that too. So I will be pre-ordering that one. Also, I just think it's cool. You know, as time has gone by, people have started to think more than just about the games, but how we control the games. And, you know, you have a whole world of mouse and keyboards, how you can bind stuff to keys and things. I always wonder why controllers, as we grew with time, didn't get more buttons. Because we got the double stick DualShock way back in PS2 when that first, even PS1 when the analog started coming out. Then as games grew and they had more input, it always needed more buttons. Then it got down to, if we can have more buttons, why can't we make a pro controller for the elite individual who plays games like that?
Yes. That
I can change out things. I can make the sticks as long as I want to.
Do you actually adjust on your controller?
Oh, my personal one?
Yeah.
Oh, I can make the analog sticks different sizes.
Yeah.
How long as I can make it dome or concave, depending on how I like to.
Well, my question is things. How often do you do that?
It's not supposed to be an often thing. It's to get it customized exactly to how it benefits to help you play. Okay. And then you leave it that way. And then if something breaks, you can switch it out.
Yeah, because it's one of those things where it's like I'm on the fence about getting it. It's not anything like I'm like. It's one of those where I'm like, I have a decent controller. I'm not a huge controller kind of person, or to the point where I'm like, you know, there's those people that are like, oh, I want this controller to have this, and then someone's like, why not do PC?
And those guys always come out the shadows. Mm-hmm. But it's like, it's basically for...
Because for me, there's a difference between controller and PC. Yeah. I like the feel of a controller in my hand. But it's like, do I like it enough where I would get basically $100, or how much is it going to cost? Like $100 or $199?
It's going to be $180.
$180 controller, you know?
It's really for I would say, like, the extreme fans.
Yeah, I would
you wouldn't get a controller like that as a casual fan, but if you were trying to get in esports, or you were a real big FPS player, or even like racing car, coming down to fighting games and stuff, sometimes you want something that's going to be a little more geared towards working under performance like that. So the regular controller is always good. It's like buying a regular controller, being like a Honda, and then you need to go get a Ferrari so you can race.
Okay. Moving on, I want to say, okay, so I'm going to toss this to you. I know you're a little unprepared for this, but I'm not that much of a big computer person, you know? Like, I had my best friend help me build my computer, kind of look at parts and tell me, hey, this is what this is for, you know? Like, you're a moron. So, when they announced the new console and the specs for that, how did you feel? Like, is it like, wow, this is super close to like another? I feel like right now it's that thing where it's like they're getting close to like computers again, and everyone's always comparing. Well, you're just building another stronger computer. You're Microsoft and stuff like that. But like, does anything they said made you like be like, oh, that's cool. I would like to get this for what reason? You know.
What it says to me as a person who finally got introduced to the world of 144 hertz and having 140 frames per second. Consoles have always just been small-based computers where they could pack kind of some equipment up there, proprietarized towards that console, usually stronger than what you could buy putting something together like that. But they've always had to compete with customizable computers because at the end of the day, if you put more money into the computer, you can make a stronger gaming machine.
Yeah, because my whole argument with like, oh, consoles are really good is that, you know, you get a set computer kind of already. You don't have to adjust it, and all the games that are coming out are going to be built for it. But does anything they say like make you go, oh, I'm really excited for Project Scarlet. I want to buy Project Scarlet.
They make it really exciting for me because basically Project Scarlet and the new PS5 almost have, no matter what their insides say, they're almost the same exact machine. It's AMD versus AMD. They're going to run pretty much just as fast as each other. They're both touting 8K capabilities, which I don't know how we're going to have 8K gaming. We barely have 8K TVs, but whatever. We'll get there. 120 frames per second. That was the biggest problem that people had with PC gaming playing on consoles, is that you barely ever reach 60 frames per second playing on console. Most time games are locked at 30 frames per second.
Okay.
My laptop, I can play at 120 frames per second all the time, and it's so smooth and nice compared to playing it on console. But I still like to play on my console. I don't know, besides nostalgic feeling or just the name that says it's PlayStation or Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
But what they're trying to do is they have to make it, to keep up with times, they have to make a better computer. They have to. And they're not just going to stop making consoles because
now,
computers are stronger.
Here's one thing.
It's going to work out like that.
Here's one thing that I feel like Microsoft has an issue, which is I don't know if they delivered this E3, because this E3, like for me going in with Microsoft, it's like, give me a reason to buy an Xbox. Game Pass was close, but that's like not this E3. Like this E3 was like, hey, give me a reason to buy Xbox or even go to Scarlet, which it didn't really, because the one thing I've noticed is like PS4, it has exclusive games.
Exactly.
You know, it's like they have their games, they have Spider-Man, Nintendo has their things.
Yeah.
Xbox has that,
and
like,
most of this list is going to be on PS4.
Yeah. Like, there are a few where it's like, oh, that's like an Xbox only thing, or like heavy PC based, like Cyberpunk 2077, you know? But it's still the point where it's like, I don't see a reason for me to get Project Scarlet, or
you're not gonna get a reason yet until you see what the games look like when they play on it.
It's not just the games though, but like if the games look as good as like on PS5, it's like, well,
it's gonna be,
you still don't have that
exclusivity
that makes me want to go get to your console. I was
close. I know they don't really have any exclusives yet.
Yeah,
but this whole
and the ones they do are not that great. Like, I hear Sea of Thieves is middle, you know.
No, Sea of Thieves is.
And We Happy Few is also one of those few ones that's like in the middle. I'm not sure if that one's Xbox exclusive, but
I think this E3 for them was mainly to tout the Xbox Pass and kind of show us where they're going in the future, especially with gaming, the whole cloud-based services and the whole Project X Cloud
streaming service,
and to tout that they're also dropping a new system next year since the whole PS5 thing was announced. They got to come out and say, "Hey, we're making one too." And I don't know. I'm like many people. I will always have a PC, but I will always have a console. I'll have both. I always have both. Especially since consoles, especially PS5, I will have one because there will be exclusives that I can only play on that PlayStation that are really great games.
I mean, Final Fantasy. Or is that exclusive or no?
Oh, the remake?
Yeah.
As of this moment, I think it's only on PlayStation.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Which kind of sucks for everybody else.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I've
heard
right now,
I wasn't really paying attention to that. That's not my. I'm like, when I see Final Fantasy, my first thought is always going to be like, oh, PS4, or Sony, because of that's what it came out on.
Yeah.
Game wise, like,
most of these games are going to be on both systems. Most of these games are even going to be on PC.
So I have a question for you, because Microsoft had a pretty good moment in E3, which was Cyberpunk 2077. But now that we've let a week pass, the cameo experience of Keanu Reeves coming out, what did you think of that now? Like, does that help the game or not? Like, I want to talk about Cyberpunk here.
I want to say Cyberpunk didn't even need any more help than already. It had such a huge following behind it just from being announced, being from CD Projekt Red, because they did so good with The Witcher 3.
Yeah. That
when they announced this game, everybody was like, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to play it. If it's anything as good as The Witcher 3, I'm going to buy it and play it. And there was so much secrets around it that people just wanted to just have it now. And then the fact that Keanu's in the game, you weren't expecting that at all.
Well, here's my thing. I think like some of the great stuff about Keanu is seeing him perform and hearing about him.
Yeah.
But there's such a thing as like, look, this is the game. You're not Keanu. Get that close. He looks like he's going to be like that assistant or old mentor kind of character. But you're not Keanu. You're not John Wick. No, you're not Neo. You're not Bill and Ted, you know, or whichever he plays.
He plays both of them.
Oh, yeah. No. Yeah. It's like, does he play Garth as well?
What?
You know, but I'm very much like, oh, that was a very cool moment. Even I was like,
it was a complete surprise.
Yeah.
And, you know,
but I
was just like,
think about it now. It's like, does it still hold up? Does the surprise still hold up? Do you still feel excited for Cyberpunk?
I was already excited for Cyberpunk. I was already going to get it, how much they touted it. But the fact that he could have not been in the game, I was still been excited. But the fact the way they delivered it made the hype even crazier, because they popped this secret trailer up that he's in, and you're like, oh shit, and all of a sudden he wanders out on stage, and you're like, it's Keanu. Keanu's here.
Yeah,
it's Keanu. What are you doing?
One of the few celebrity appearances.
You're breathtaking. It's all breathtaking.
Oh my god, that is
breathtaking. Somebody actually asked if something was wrong with him, and I was like, you leave Keanu alone.
Yeah, right. Someone's like, everywhere I saw that meme on the internet. Everywhere I look, I see him from Spider-Man, and it's Keanu Reeves.
It's so weird though, because right before that, I had watched the movie "Always Be My Maybe." Funny movie. Everybody should watch it. And he's in there. Yeah. Basically like that. And then the next day, I watched E3, and then he comes out on stage, and he's in the game, and I'm like, what is going on?
He's on top of the world.
We're definitely in the Matrix right now.
Yeah. Last thing I want to talk about, and this is mainly you wanting to talk about this one, even though I'm like, there's not much. It was the teaser for Elden Ring by George R.R. Martin. Okay, so what made you want to talk about this? Because it's your typical From Software kind of.
It's your typical From Software game. It's another.
Well, I wouldn't say typical game. I would say typical like teaser. They did this at the Game Awards, where it was that part of Shadows Die Twice with the breaking kind of thing, or was that 2 years ago? Whatever it was, but it was like, oh, okay, that didn't tell us anything.
No.
You know.
But it already looks like on the side of just what they showed us, it looks like the lore is going to be spectacular. It looks like it's going to be a pretty deep story. If it's anything like Dark Souls gameplay, you're obviously going to have fun. But if it mixes the intensity of Sekiro into it, I think it'd be a really great game to get. Especially on the wayside, they just dropped Sekiro, and now they already have this game lined up. And George R.R. Martin, he's not writing the story, he's writing the lore, but that should make an expansive lore.
Maybe.
We still don't know what the game is. It might be an online game in the universe of Dark Souls. We don't got any information about it. But
you're just excited based on it's From Software. They have another project out.
Given their track record, you are expecting it to be a pretty good game.
Yeah, they only had what was the one that was not that great?
Out of their games?
I think Demon Souls. Like, because that was their first one.
Yeah.
And then they had Dark Souls.
But it gave the heart to the series, and then Dark Souls and Dark Souls 2 and 3, and then Bloodborne, and then Sekiro, and then...
And I feel like there's another, but yeah.
They also have a further track record because they made the Tenchi Stealth Assassin games. Tenchu, a couple of them.
Like, I personally, I don't feel like it's that much of a thing, you know, like to be excited for. But that's nothing to Fallout for. Speaking of Fallout, we're going straight into Bethesda, which was next. Not too much technical stuff, but they did announce their new streaming service, Orion, which is not competition with Stadia or Microsoft, but according to an interview with The Verge, be used with any streaming platform to provide a better experience for any consumer playing that game on that platform and deliver it at a lower cost to whoever's serving the data. I'm coming back to that in a moment.
No, we're going to come back to that. We definitely are.
Yeah. That is for sure going to be speaked about. As for games, Fallout 76 is getting a free update called Wastelanders, which is said to have new quests, gear, and human NPCs, along with a new game mode called Nuclear Winter, which is Fallout's 52-person battle royale. We'll see new updates to Elder Scrolls Blades, which is coming to Switch, and we'll see updates to Elder Scrolls Online. Elder Scrolls Legends, which is their version of the digital trading card game like Hearthstone, is now on the App Store along with a new expansion. Rage 2 is also seeing a new expansion called Rise of the Ghost expansion, with new cheat codes, vehicles, enemies, factions, and new gameplay modes. Also saw a CG trailer for Tango Gameworks' new IP, Ghostwire Tokyo, the Arcane Leon Studios' new game, Deathloop, and a trailer for Wolfenstein Cyberpilot, a VR game coming out in July. A gameplay trailer was also shown for the co-op Wolfenstein Youngblood coming out in July 26th of this year, and ended with Doom Eternal showing gameplay trailer, a collector edition, and a November 22nd release date this year, along with a new battle mode.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay. Do you want to discuss about Orion first?
Yes.
Because I feel like we need to get that off the table here.
You know,
because that really didn't sound like anything.
It was really shadowy. It was really shadowy. I get what they were going at, because they were like, we started a bunch of platforms, and I was like, yeah, I get that. And they were like, Orion. They didn't quite tell you what it does.
Yeah.
I think it's just an optimization system for when future that we're moving towards, all this streaming stuff.
It was like,
sure it's going to help it run better.
Okay, so...
But I have no clue what it does.
I was reading that article with The Verge, and I was still kind of confused of what it does. Now, if you ever...
It's
listen,
confusing.
audience, if you ever have a chance, go on YouTube. Not while this is like after, just put like a sticky note. And
Don't cut us off.
Yeah.
And go.
YouTube, Reggie Watts TED Talk, and just watch the first half of his TED Talk because he literally is like saying nothing but using big words and negating himself of every point he makes. That's what this felt like. The only thing I can kind of tell is to deliver at lower cost to whoever's serving the data. Seems like this isn't a product for consumers.
No.
This is a product that they're trying to sell to Stadia and Microsoft.
Well, I mean, that's the other thing we do have to remember about E3, the Electronic Expo.
Mm-hmm.
It is not mainly for consumers.
Mm-hmm.
It is mainly to sell to different companies. The game side of it is a big thing that we get the tune in onto, but the other half of it is it's the industry thing that's supposed to go down. So I feel like that launch was basically to tell the other services that, hey, we can work with you to optimize your streaming because I can tell that you're all moving towards this.
They're going to try at least. It's like gaming versus IP like we discussed earlier.
Pretty much. It's like, hey, you have a streaming service that you're trying to launch, and I want to help your consumers get this on their system so we can all have a seamless working system together.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's one of those like, all right, this overall press conference, how did you feel about Bethesda's? Because Bethesda, for me, when they came out, okay, two things. One, it annoyed me. I don't know who it was, but they definitely either have like developers or fans, or like they found the legit fans of like their like the most fans of their kind of IPs. Because there was a lot of screaming that I just hated it.
Yo, I was gonna get there. I was gonna say my guy in the audience with the loudest voice in the world I ever heard in my life. Man, he was so hyped that he got me hyped for everything. Some of the stuff I was like, "What is this?" But he was so hyped, and I know some people found it annoying, but it was funny because
that's me. I'm that person.
He was
that
so
was like,
loud without a microphone that I was crazy. And I told you I commented on that on Twitter, and he found my comment somehow.
Oh my god! What?
The guy is like hype man at E3, and he's like, "I did theater. I know how to project."
I really hope that's the guy. I really hope that's him.
I really do. But I give it to them. They were really loud. I mean, say so if they pay people or developers or whatnot. I mean, you gotta keep the energy moving.
My issue is like I think I totally understand they gotta get the energy moving, but this Bethesda felt like going into this conference I didn't have high hopes. It was like, yo, last year it was whack, you know. Andrew WK, amazing dude, did an awesome performance.
Yeah, last year they didn't really do much.
It was like, okay. And then they, like, how happy Todd Howard was for Fallout 76. And then I just see him come back, and he has that smug kind of grin. And I'm like, I don't like you. You knew this was wrong. Like, this was that bad. Like, there's a reason everyone was finally excited for human NPCs. It was just that, like, yo, look what we finally got.
Look, we gave you NPCs. Because we asked for them. You were never going to put them in the game. It was a bad launch. You know it was a bad launch. You could have done a better job. But I hope they fix it. I mean, there's other games that are online that have really bad launches, and they just destroy their entire game and rebuilt it.
Like
I feel like Anthem should do the same thing. Final Fantasy 14 did that, and they made a great game after they destroyed everything.
I think there's a difference, though, because Final Fantasy 14 was not like, yo, we're going to slowly update this. They're like, you know what, guys? Let's nuke this.
Yeah, no, I feel like sometimes you got to kill your baby. It's a figure of speech. Don't really do that, but that's what they say in the industry. Sometimes you got to kill your babies.
You could have done a better one. I'm just saying.
No, that's the one that everybody uses.
If you really love something, you should let it go. That's the other one.
It's kind of separate from that because, you know, if you're letting it go, you're kind of letting it go off in the wind. That's kind of like selling a company that you can't run anymore.
Babies should be killed,
but it's like what they mean by that is you made something, it's precious to you, and even though it kind of sucks,
like there's only
you don't want to get rid of it, but you gotta destroy it, man. It's just not good. That's what that means. Don't really kill your babies. Don't time mark this either. That's just gonna be a weird conversation. But look it up. That's it. It's a saying. Sometimes you gotta kill your babies.
Giant text scroll. Do not kill your babies.
Do not kill your babies. Whatever you do. I was excited for some things in here. Fallout 76 is getting Fallout. Battle Royale mode just sounds. Why is everybody jumping on that train? There's enough of those. Elder Scrolls Blade sounds like it's really cool. I just happy that they hinted that there's gonna be the next story in Elder Scrolls.
See, like, here's my thing. And no, I wasn't expecting, what's it called? What's that? The game they said last year. Not Elder Scrolls 6. They had another one. No, not Observation. They had that space one. They're like, we're working on this, you know? I can't remember it. But last year they announced 2 games that they're working on, Elder Scrolls 6 and this space one. I wasn't expecting them this year just because I don't.
It's too far out.
I felt like this press conference should be more kind of what's the word when you're trying to fix something after the fact? Damage control. That's what this press conference kind of felt like, especially with the Fallout 76. Just the, hey guys, here's the thing that should have been in the game at first. Our bad. Also, we give you this new mode, please, you know.
Which is crazy because Fallout 76, they were like, yo, but then they followed up with Elder Scrolls Online, ELO, which is doing fantastic right now.
Yeah. Other than that, for me personally, I really didn't care much about Bethesda. Like, I want to like Bethesda's games, and there were 2 that I'm super excited. The first one is the cutest intro to the horror game. Like, the most adorable, scary horror creative director comes out, Nakamura, and just... She was adorable.
She was so great.
She was amazing, just like how she was and how she acted.
It's funny how
and introduce
your regular personality just blew you up on the internet, and that's just how you are.
Yeah, and she introduced Ghostwire Tokyo, which, let me just say, despite me kind of being like this downer with Keanu kind of thing, no, don't bring Keanu down. He's awesome. Keep him up. But I still remember, you know, Cyberpunk because of Keanu. I now remember Ghostwire Tokyo because of her a lot better, too.
I feel like some people even forgot the game and just, who's that? I bet she got so many Twitter fans after this. But Ghostwire Tokyo.
Yeah, that's the one I'm kind of excited for, you know? Ghostwire
Tokyo. It's a different
Tokyo
type of IP. It looks super entertaining.
And Deathloop. Those are the 2 games that I'm like, oh, I'm down for these.
Deathloop was... That trailer.
Oh, yeah, dude.
I was like, whoa, what is going on? What is this butterfly effect thingy? But it was...
Yeah, and then I'm also excited for Wolfenstein Youngblood.
Wolfenstein usually, it makes for a great game usually.
Oh, I love co-op experiences because I played with my best friend online, you know. We played Dead Space 3. Not a good game by itself. Great 3, and it, like, great if you're doing co-op because there is one part where one of your characters is getting like a PTSD, right? But only that person playing can see that.
Whoa.
Yeah. So you walk in and it's like all these like presents and stuff along the wall, like something, and you're like, oh, dude, do you see all this? And they're like, what are you seeing? These gifts, man. It's so weird.
See, and that is like the immersion factor of where they could take multiplayer games if they would focus on them like that.
But the thing is, I was so hoping there was like another part of that. Never again in that game. I was like, that was the best part. So I really like co-op games. I like doing them, and this looks like one of those run and gun fun ones.
Yeah. Which
is weird because Wolfenstein, when I first played it, was like a stealth game for me. You know, so I never was more of the haha everyone.
Oh, the later ones are just run out there and blow shit up. Yeah. That's what it is.
Well, no longer PG-13. There is the third one there. But yeah.
Ended with Doom Eternal.
Yeah, what you thought of that?
Yo, Doom is Doom. Doom is Doom. Doom will always be Doom, and Doom does what Doom does best.
Kill demons.
Well, he's in heaven now.
Is that heaven?
I thought that's what it was supposed to be, because he's dealing with angels and stuff. And
I think that's going to be later. I was weirded out by that. I was like, is this Norse?
Because it basically turned into, you've been everywhere and killed everything, but you haven't been here yet. What?
You haven't been to heaven.
It's funny because it doesn't take itself too seriously. It just knows it's fast-paced, brutal, and stuff explodes, and that's what we want.
Yeah.
And it looks good. It looks real good. Like, graphical-wise, it just looks real good.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those where I was like, I've already seen a good amount of Doom Eternal. Like, I think they had it at something else. I could be wrong, but, like, seeing Doom Eternal the first time, I'm just like, yo, it's Doom. It's going to be great, you know? And then this one's like, oh, they went faster. There's that grappling hook and these other stuff. Is like, okay, cool. I'm still in, you know? You still have me.
It's crazy.
I think it was a decent way to close out their show, you know?
Yeah.
It's not like it's not too weird about going to the heaven thing. You can totally like expect it. Speaking of weird though, so Devolver Digital.
Ooh, love them guys.
Okay.
Love them guys.
So Devolver Digital had a press conference, and we're gonna talk about this press conference. It was more like a Nintendo Direct kind of thing. I think they were making fun of it. Now, just a note, Devolver, last couple of years, I think they've done this satire thing, and that's what they were doing with Direct. So they ended parroting Directs, and here's what they showed. A game by Mediatonic called Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout, scheduled to come out next year. It's like a battle royale. The announcement of Bootleg Devolver Digital Pack, which they themselves actually release on Steam, that you can legitimately buy today. Followed by showing a gameplay trailer of a new game called Carrion. Then, okay, this is what I mean by Devolver Digital is weird, and I don't know if I believe everything they say, but because they kept saying, this is real, they have an Enter the Gungeon House of the Gundead arcade cabinet based on the popular Enter the Gungeon game that is coming out in 2020. Then they had the messenger from Sabotage Studios getting a free DLC expansion called Picnic Panic, and finished with some sort of trailer for a game called My Friend Pedro, which is out now.
Oh my god, that game looks awesome.
Anything you want to discuss here? Like it's
I want to discuss the fact that I could have swore, because I didn't get to look at this E3 from the beginning, but I could have swore when I tuned at some point it was like a live wrestling match and some dude in a chicken suit and something else. I swear.
Now I will tell you right now.
I can't find it.
That is probably the pre-show.
It probably was the pre-show or something, but I tuned in, and because I was on Twitter. And it was like, if you're not watching the Devolver Digital press conference right now, you need to go. So I went to go look, and I was like, what the hell is going on here?
I honestly don't know what to say, because Devolver's weird, man. Like it's their own thing.
That's good though. That's their identity. That sells games for them. That's funny.
Yeah, I mean you kind of expect that every year. Like when they're doing something. The first year I saw Devolver, and they're like, oh, we're having a press conference. I went in with like. Because I love press conferences. I love E3 for the press conference. And then they did this parody thing. I was like, nah, man, this is whack. And I turned it off. Like, I was that against it. But now that I know, like, their stuff is supposed to be that.
Yeah.
Because it felt like a waste of time for me. Because they didn't say, like, you know. It's like going to a comedy show but not knowing it's comedy. It's like, yo, we're going to a dinner. And then it's an improv show. And they're like, hey, you're coming on stage. And I'm like, I just wanted my mac and cheese, man.
We're going to dinner. It's an improv show. And what?
Improv and dinner? I mean,
tricked
like,
me.
Oh, man.
Why?
But now it's like, okay.
Like my friend Pedro, I was going to try it out. I played the demo. It's...
What? Okay. That trailer was weird because I saw the banana and I don't know what's
the banana talks to you, man.
Is it during the game? It was the actual game when you're like flinging your character, shooting that like weird like move? You're going to have to explain it because that trailer did not really do it for me. I was like...
I watched that trailer too, the one that doesn't have like gameplay and it's just like the trailer and...
Like the banana just turns and
Banana's like you got to hit the skillet.
You know, or something like that.
It's Pedro.
I'm okay.
Pedro.
I will say one of the cool things that came out from this that I feel like we should kind of talk about is Carrion. That's the kind of reverse... horror Metrovania kind of style. Did you look at this at all yet or no?
Carrion?
Yeah, Carrion.
No, I think I missed that one.
So in Carrion,
I think I saw like a piece of it, but I didn't like.
It's that thing where you're like a blob, right? And then you break out of your experiment facility and all the sciences are running, and you have to eat them and stuff like that. You're the monster that's going throughout this whole thing.
Do you grow when you eat them?
I believe so, yeah. You grow and you get bigger and stuff like that.
It's kind of like one of those fish games or Katamari.
Yeah, kind of, but like with killing.
With killing instead of like... Actually, no, that's actually sounds pretty fun.
Yeah. Like I said, there's not really much to talk about Devolver. They just ended the day of that E3.
It was the weirdest press conference I've ever seen. That's all I know. I turned to it. Someone was like, "You got to tune in," and I went to go look, and I was like, "I have no clue what is going on right now. Is this a real studio or is this fake?" But it's real.
Yeah. Well, so let's get to the next day of E3, and that started with Ubisoft. Ubisoft, yeah. So here's how their press conference went. I don't know what you're making a joke to. They introduced Watch Dogs Legion with its multiple playable operatives coming out March 6, 2020. Ubisoft partnered for a TV show that is pairing game development life called Mythic Quest. An Apple TV Plus show showed Rainbow Six Siege Operation Phantom Sight. Adventure Time characters is now available in Brawlhalla. Showed more of Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint with some Terminator partnership as well.
Again, the Terminator.
Yeah. Announced the mobile RPG of Tom Clancy's Elite Squad, followed by a Just Dance 2020 release date and trailer, also coming for Wii. For Honor then got a limited time event. It probably passed by now. Shadow of Hitokiri. We then got shown Tom Clancy's Rainbow 14 with its 3-player PvE co-op experience. More content updates for The Division 2 was next, along with a little bit talks of the movie based on the game coming to Netflix. Then we got technical showcasing Uplay Plus, which is their version of Netflix for games. The $14.99 per month service allows for early access to their new games and catalog of games. Coming September 2019 with Stadia access in 2020, followed by a trailer for a new IP called Roller Champions, a team PvP roller derby game, and then ended with a teaser for their new game, Gods and Monsters, coming out February 25th, 2020. So anything you want to discuss now?
That new Watch Dogs Legion.
All right.
You know, it's funny. Watch Dogs, to me, I played the entire first game, and I lost interest in the latter half of it as we got to the end game closing. But I feel Watch Dogs 2 was much more lively than Watch Dogs 1 and had a lot more going on.
So I didn't play Watch Dogs 1. I started with 2. I jumped right into that because Watch Dogs 2, had Run the Jewels in their trailer.
Yeah, and I think that set a lot of people off. I was like, what? Getting it.
Yeah, it was like, yo, this has that feel of like, all right, I'm down for like this Silicon Valley kind of punk kind of style. Because you definitely knew like they were going to go against like a tech corporation or something like that, you know? And it's like, okay, I'm down for this like college hacker with Run the Jewels playing in the background. It introduced me to Run the Jewels. I'm super happy about that.
It was a good trailer.
But yeah, it was. I never finished it because I just have this thing about open world games. I don't finish them that much unless
because there's usually so much to do unless you really invest your time, especially with Ubisoft and their history of open world games.
Yeah, are
always so huge. It's at one point you're just like, I don't know if I can continue.
Well, the other thing was,
but I had fun doing.
The only real one I finished was GTA 5. I didn't even finish Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
What?
No, I watched my friend beat it. And they beat it without defeating all the other Phantom Ganons. But this beside the point. I finished GTA 5 because I think the easy part of that was me jumping between people so I can cover the map a lot easier. And that's one thing I'm really excited for Watch Dogs Legion. You know, it's like, oh, maybe this one I'll finish, even though it's like not my style of like thing.
It looks like it's going to be a much larger game than Watch Dogs 2 was. But it's funny. I like what they went about it because you can see with each game, they incorporate what they've learned and what they wanted to put in the first game that they didn't. Yeah. And it just gets bigger because the first one had like a dedicated story. It's about DedSec. It looks like 2 just kind of threw out whatever they were kind of doing, and 2 what led still with the DedSec thing. And the next one looks like they're fighting like Big Brother and the Sky and the Eye thing, but you can play as anybody. And that old lady.
Okay, yeah.
The old lady.
Okay, so the gameplay demo walkthrough they did.
Best part.
The old lady, yes, it was amazing. I think the amazing thing about that was just seeing her, how she plays and how she walks.
That was the funny part. They had gameplay action for that just to see.
They knew when they were doing this, like, yo, you know that funny thing that Jeff made with the old ladies? Yeah, let's use them, you know?
Yeah, it looks like with this title, they just got free reign to do whatever they wanted. And they were like, you know what?
Old lady assassin grandma.
We're going to go for everything and just go in.
So the trailer to me, like, because especially like what they're doing with Watch Dogs, you know, it doesn't feel like, oh, this is no longer a story about the Watch Dogs 1 protagonist. I think his name was Aiden.
Yes.
Yeah. And Watch Dogs 2 protagonist. It's no longer about either of those.
Yeah.
It's no longer focusing on one person. This feels like more. This is a story about DedSec facing like a police state or something like that. This is how DedSec works. This is DedSec's story, not these people.
Not these people. Well, that's what they're leading to, because Watch Dogs 2 had an online mode. So it was trying to get to the point that it's going to be all the hackers versus the establishment.
Yeah, and this one feels like it feels like 2 had a nice, what's the word, like war battle zone between these like small hackers of college students versus tech corporation. Yeah, you know, this one feels like, oh yeah, you need a whole resistance of DedSec versus a government kind of thing. Exactly. You
know? I think it's gonna be fun. It'd be dope.
So what do you think about this one overall? Ubisoft's press conference. I mean,
it was flashy. It was nice. It was cool.
Flashy. The question is,
they introduced some things but what my general feeling for E3 so far for most of the companies, it didn't seem like they were here to be like, look, this is all the new games that are coming. It seemed to be more of, look, guys, we are moving towards subscription-based services, and we're going to let you guys know how we're going about it right now. A little bit. We got some games coming, but we got some servers. We got Project X Cloud coming. We got Google Stadia coming.
We got Uplay
Plus. Our Netflix coming. Everybody has their own subscription-based service coming, and it's basically, it feels like they put some games around it so they can give us the hard news. So just to kind of gloss us over, so
you know
we
what
wouldn't
this
be
feels
like,
it feels like 3 years ago or 4 years ago, that E3 where it's like, you always know that E3 where it's like, there's not that many games. They still brought some games, but none of it, like, I even think the Bethesda trailer did a better job hiding it, because this one didn't feel like, oh, this is about the games we're making, because last year that was their thing, you know, oh, we got Rabbids and all this other cool stuff and Beyond Good and Evil. This one was like, hey, here's the games we got now that is going to keep getting the updates. And we also have this TV show. So, yeah, and then Uplay. And then, like, Watch Dogs Legion was their biggest game of that night. Yeah.
Well, followed by... Ubisoft was blamed about it. They told us last time that he believes that games are going towards a subscription service, and that's what they're going to focus their attention on and tell us about. And that's exactly what they came out and did.
Like, my thing is, like, most of this was Tom Clancy stuff. Tom Clancy, Division, Ghost Recon, stuff I'm not too much of a fan of. The Pitbull was cute, though. Other than that, like, all right, nothing here is for me, Ubisoft. Like, you don't have a new Rayman.
There's Brawlhalla.
Brawlhalla, I haven't played that either.
You should try it out.
Have you?
Just try it out.
Oh, okay.
Just try it out.
Even their new game that's by the guys who did Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Gods and Monsters, there was just a teaser. And, you know, it's like, okay.
I feel like it's going to be a cool game to do, but I was expecting at least maybe the sound about another Assassin's Creed coming or something.
Yeah, like because it feels like they've been switching off per year or stuff like that. So,
because they usually do. It's like, hey, next Assassin's Creed, here's a sneak peek. But what they were really here to tell us was, hey,
subservice
is
the
coming.
Stuff we got.
This is what's going on. Here's some games that's going to be on the subservice. Eventually, we're going to launch these subservices, and this is how you're going to play our games.
And then that day we also had the Square Enix press conference after Ubisoft. Square Enix had their press conference, which had started by showing more into the Final Fantasy VII Remake. The 2 Blu-ray disc game will be coming out with a March 2020 release date. There was a new gameplay demo that showcased the battle system and one of the earlier boss fights. They showed a longer trailer that also showed the new Tifa gameplay along with pre-order bonuses and showing Sephiroth moments. Square then reminded us that Life is Strange 2 is out. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles had another trailer stating that it's coming to mobile and have online co-op and a winter release window. Next was Octopath trailer to say it's now available on PC. Also currently available was The Last Remnant Remastered on Switch, followed by a Dragon Quest Builders gameplay trailer for Dragon Quest Builders 2 gameplay trailer. This was new as well. The Dragon Quest continues with Switch game Dragon Quest XI, the definitive edition this fall. then a preview of a game called Circuit Superstars. Square Enix then had a video show their music library is now available on music streaming. Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind DLC will be coming out this winter. A trailer was then shown for Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers, which comes out July 2nd. A Dying Light 2 trailer with a spring 2020 release date. Also coming soon is the Romancing Saga 3 and Saga Scarlet Grace. Final Fantasy Brave Exodus War of the Visions is in development, a new mobile kind of Final Fantasy game. There was an announced trailer for a game called Outriders coming in summer 2020. Tokyo RPG Factory's newest game, Oninaki, also had a trailer with a date of release being August 22nd of this year. Coming out this year as well is a remastering of Final Fantasy VIII, but no one really cares about that.
Yes!
With all coming to a close with Crystal Dynamics unveiling their game Marvel's Avengers. While discussing it, it will have a core campaign story, some co-op online content, and regularly get new heroes. Marvel Avengers will be coming out May 15th, 2020.
Actually, can we start there?
With the Marvel Avengers?
Yes.
You want to start at the end? Cool, we can start at the end.
Because I know I wasn't the only one. The adverse reaction that everybody had. Because so many people were waiting for this game to launch and the hypeness of it. And it's like, oh, it's going to be cool. And then we've seen the Avengers in the MCU universe looking a certain way for the past, 10 years? Somewhere there. And they drop this game and you're like, oh, they're going to look like the people. And they just look like imposters. They just... they just look straight up like imposters.
It's so weird.
It was funny to me. Well, it wasn't funny, but it was just...
The weird thing is, right, everyone's expecting that.
Yes.
But I never heard anything when Spider-Man was coming out. You remember?
Yeah.
No one was like, oh, I really hope this looks like Tom Holland. Everyone's like, yo, that Spider-Man's hot. He looks like the character. He looks like his voice actor, too.
He looks like Spider-Man.
I mean... yeah, that's Spider-Man.
They got some really good voice actors support on this Marvel game coming. It's just...
was it also Nolan North and Troy Baker on this one? Both of those guys? Cool.
Both of them in the game. I know it threw a lot of people off looking at the Avengers and they're like, wait, what?
This trailer, overall, this whole
this announcement not gonna change them either.
Is just one of those where I'm like, mix, man. Yeah. Mix.
I believe what I'm to understand, though, is that what we were watching, that was between cinematics and gameplay.
Yeah, that's my thing, too. It was like, I don't know what's cinematic and what's gameplay, because there are some parts where it looks like that is part of the gameplay with no UI or something like that.
Yeah.
But
because I feel like they're trying to do like a cinematic seamless transition. Because they do have other games that do that, but you can't tell which part was the gameplay and which part was the scenes.
It was... no, I think you can kind of tell.
A little bit.
But it's that one thing where it's like, this is jarring enough for me to notice and say something about that. Overall, another thing is I have the issue with, what's it called? I don't understand what they're trying to do with Marvel's Avengers.
I don't get it either. They didn't put a big...
they're not like, yo, this is what this is. This is...
no.
They're like, it's a core campaign story. Oh, okay, cool. So it's like a adventure game. No, but we'll also have co-op. So am I making my own hero or what?
Yeah, but even beyond the co-op, they're like more heroes will be added later and content from the stories. And I was like, so is this a MOBA? Is this a
what is this?
MMORPG somehow? Is this growing into what's going on? What's the roster? I'm sure we're gonna hear more about it, but now
the way you're showing this is
confused.
Just bad. You know, it's like, oh, core campaign story, and it's like, okay, if they came and said we'll have more for that story in form of DLC with these new characters that are constantly being added, such as Ant-Man, Black Panther, and stuff like that, you'll be like, oh, that makes sense, you know?
And Hawkeye, who was completely left out. But
yeah, well, you know.
That's cool.
But it's like, oh, that makes sense, because, you know, Spider-Man had its core campaign, and then it had 3 DLC to try to tie into whatever the next game is. You know they got to be working on that.
Yeah, but it didn't even seem like they were doing DLC. It sounded like they said... it's gonna be a living universe or something like that, and what was going through my head, what they were describing, it was gonna be like Marvel's Avengers, and then have like Anthem type cataclysms hopping up every now and then, or like Destiny like public events that are gonna go down, just weird stuff that changes the universe and stuff. They didn't really speak much about it, but that showing graphically looked pretty cool. But it was jarring to see the people not look like who you expect them to.
I honestly don't have a problem with that because I'm like, you don't really, especially if you like look at comics too. It's like supposed to be slightly different, you know? Yeah, like
Well, they didn't
you
even look
picture
like the
in your
comics.
mind like Captain America looks like Chris Evans, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, that's a little off. You know, it's
Even the comic book guy looks like the way Chris Evans looked. The Captain America looked like some dude who just showed up.
yeah. Other than okay, so we started at the end. Let's go to the top now because this was a big thing.
Yeah, let's talk about Tifa.
Is it Tifa?
It's Tifa.
Oh, okay.
It's Tifa. It's
So
T-E-E-F-A. Tifa.
T-E-E?
It's spelled T-I-F-A, but it's pronounced Tifa.
So is it Titus or Titus?
It's Titus.
Mm-hmm.
It's Titus. And I'm going to go off a limb and say this for all you out there. I don't care what number it said inside of what was it on? Was it Dissidia or something?
Disgaea or
whatever
whatever that.
And they called him
Final
Titus.
Fantasy, yeah.
No. All of us playing Final Fantasy X call him Titus. Everybody call him Titus. It's Titus. His name is Titus.
All right, so let's start. So yeah, all right. Actually, you know what? Let's start with Final Fantasy VIII because I know you're excited for that more with Squale and.
Oh my God! This is how we're gonna go about this. Squill and
Sophie.
Rena and Sophie.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm actually got.
Okay, yeah. Let's start.
This
Let's
is
start
how-
with Final Fantasy VIII. Yeah.
This is how we get something to become a remake because it's getting remastered finally. So it means it's finally getting the love it deserves. Because for a long time, it's living FF7's shadow as being like the worst game that's ever made, and I objectively think is a better game than Final Fantasy VII because they improved a lot of their mechanics from Final Fantasy VII to make Final Fantasy VIII. And if you were a Final Fantasy fan long enough, you know every game is different, and they carry some core people over. It seemed like a lot of people got introduced to Final Fantasy VIII, to the whole Final Fantasy universe, is when Final Fantasy VII came out for PlayStation. And that's everybody based their opinions off of. But FF8 was a great game.
Yeah, I mean, I've only played a small bit of it, you know, and I was like, oh yeah, this is fun. You know, it's not the worst. It's not like 9 or something.
So people are gonna stab you in the throat.
I know. I was expecting you to.
Actually, 9 is not my favorite.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
9 kind of throws it back to their older days,
Yeah.
but 6 is one of my favorites.
So okay, so then I have to ask because we see Final Fantasy VII, you know, the remake, and before we get into that, we hear that this is like a whole new game for them. Do you think that they're gonna take this approach with 8 sometime soon?
Not anytime soon, I don't think so.
No, so they're not gonna be like, oh, you guys, you know what's giving us money? These remasters. We probably should do this with a couple of them,
If
like
7 does
6
great,
or you know like.
that was I'll say they'll remaster another one before they remaster 8. They might go further back and get one in like Final Fantasy 4 and like super update that one.
Yeah.
Because that's like on a level of Chrono Trigger for nostalgia for people. But FF8, I feel like it'd be a while before they decide to just remake the entire thing.
Okay.
If they do, I'll buy it. I'll be there.
I mean, yeah,
Square,
like
think about it. I'll buy it.
I'm down to do it. It's just one of those like, we all know that they have what's it called? That everyone has like this huge impact with Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, okay, I understand why they're doing that. It's like if you speak to anyone growing up with the PS2, it's like the 10, you know? 10 for me is the first one, and it's like, oh, this means a lot to me if I, you know.
Yep.
So
7 was the first for a lot of people because it was on PlayStation.
Yeah, it's also like one that was like, oh, this is the first Final Fantasy that's not a Nintendo, that's PlayStation, does this, and it's really good at what it does.
One of the first 3D one.
So yeah, let's go. Let's actually talk about that 7 remake at the intro with Tifa.
7 remake. It's gonna be I'm looking forward to it because I did like 7. Okay. My situation with it, I feel like they're going to milk this so hard because I was excited seeing the gameplay and everything, and it was gonna be a great game. I love Crisis Core. Yeah. It seems like it's built off of that. But after they told me that it's only gonna get up to the Midgar saga, and then they're gonna release time releases of other parts of the game over time, and they don't know how many they're gonna have to make.
Yeah.
They're just gonna keep making them. I feel like that's the whole reason that the DLC for Final Fantasy 15 for Arden's end of the story got cut, because they focused on this. And they've gotten to a point now that they have no worries about taking a game out and giving you pieces of it to keep getting paid as you play it.
Well, the other thing is like this, because I hear they're treating this as like a whole new game in the sequence of numbers.
Oh,
like,
because they're adding new parts to the story. They're
know?
fleshing out the story. They're giving NPCs back stories, giving you quests to do outside of it. So it's going to be a huge game to do. It's just going to be a while before you get to beat the entire thing.
Yeah, it's one of those where it's like, I look at it and I'm like, wow, they said like Midgar is going to be a 40-hour experience, or like a legit like a Final Fantasy game. And I don't know if that's on the 2 Blu-ray disc of Midgar. That Midgar is just 1 and 2. They weren't that clear of like what's the 2 Blu-ray disc set. So, but it's still like in the whole thing where I'm like, oh boy, I really hope I have like, if I'm that into it, I gotta take like days off for this, you know, especially because an RPG is very hard in a 9-to-5 job, and we don't do this for a living, you know? Like, there is no way I'm gonna review like Final Fantasy VII, Midgar, like I did God of Roboto, which is out right now. Go ahead, check that website once we're done here. But like, you know,
I will sacrifice my life to finish that game, as many hours as it takes.
Well, okay. So other than,
but it's just I'm excited for it. It looks really good, and they got me more hyped that they finally got a lot of gameplay.
Let me
going.
ask you, how does the gameplay look for you? Like, because that's one thing.
Looks
this
beautiful.
was the first time we've seen the gameplay.
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
Oh,
if it works anything like Final Fantasy 15,
hey,
it's gonna be dope.
I think it looks better than 15 for me.
No, it does look better than 15 because it's built off of that engine. Yeah. But if it plays anything like that for the battle mode, it's a good system. I know they like to reinvent systems every time they make the game, for good or worse, but so far it looks like it's gonna be dope.
Like I really like switching between the characters. I like seeing between them. I like I really hope there's a setting regarding their voices, because it not like I'm like, oh, it has to be dubbed or sub. No, it's the how much helpful advice or like banter there is between Cloud and Barrett. Because for some reason I thought Cloud Barrett was his name. No, Cloud and Barrett. Because it felt like there was quite a bit, you know, and it's definitely like an early boss fight, like, yo, his shield, you know?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, okay. I hope that's turned down, but everything about that looked fine. And that boss fight, I know that's an early boss fight, but that looked dope.
Yeah.
Just that thing going around was it a Mako reactor that they were blowing up?
Yeah. Inside it looks beautiful. I'll tell you right now that banter is not going to get turned down, because they would not shut up at all in Final Fantasy 15.
Oh.
But it gives you clues.
Yeah.
Basically what to do throughout the task. Basically weak point sometimes, or hey, I got a special, or is it.
I mean, like, it looked really good. I'm super down with it. I'm not sure if I want to pre-order this. I don't know, because like I said, Final Fantasy VII to me doesn't have that much of an impact, but this looks just really good.
I'm pre-order it, just because it's Square Enix. I go so far back with Square Soft before they were Square Enix. Even Enix with bringing in Dragon Quest and everything. Big JRPG fan. I'm definitely going to buy this and probably get the steelbook for it, since I only download games nowadays unless they got a steelbook. But I'm excited to play it, and it brings back childhood memories. I just want to know how long it's going to take before you can really get into the story.
So I'm going to just move us along a little bit. But the Square Enix, this press conference was one of, like, this is their best. I think it was like 4 or 5 years ago.
It's a real good show.
It was a press conference that felt like a legitimately press conference, like them talking in front of press, and it was so drab. This one, they went game after game after game after game. Last year they had one and it wasn't that great, but Square this year, it's like, yo, we got this space. We took over PlayStation. Let's bring it like we're PlayStation, you know? And
you know what I felt like? I felt like it was PlayStation in spirit.
Yeah, right? It was like, yo, you're here for all the games that Microsoft doesn't have and it's not showing, all the games that Ubisoft doesn't have. Here's what we got.
That's what we got. We know what you came for.
Which, overall, there's a good amount of games here, like Dragon Quest Builders 2. I was like, oh, I might actually pick that up again, Like,
it actually looked fun. It looks fun for co-op too, play with people.
Yeah, and then there were a couple things that didn't look too great, like Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind, because I'm pretty sure we've seen that trailer before. But there's a lot of stuff. So, last but not least, you ready for this? Are you ready for this? It's Nintendo with their Nintendo Direct the next day. And this one had a lot of announcements. Yep. They started by showing... I don't know what you were doing there. I was like...
Are you ready for this?
Was that? Yeah. I thought you were doing the Solid Snake song or something.
What? No.
Yes.
You said, are you ready for this?
I'm not a music guy.
Dun, 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 dun.
I mean, that sounds like a jam. It's like it's out of this world, like a space jam or something.
God, I knew you were going
but
there.
All right. So the Nintendo Direct.
Wait, do you know that song too? Do you not know that song?
I don't know Space Jam.
What?
Like, okay, now I gotta cross
Come
off
on
that
and
we're gonna.
slam, and welcome to the.
I've not heard that.
Oh my god.
This is not the time for.
Okay.
Like I said, age difference. I did not grow up with Space Jam.
Space Jam. You gotta watch Space Jam at some point after that.
No.
What?
This is not the time for Space Jam.
You need to get the Monster song.
Okay.
Ask Alex about the Monster song.
All right, so Nintendo started with showing the new Smash Brothers fighter. I'm ignoring you. The hero from the Dragon Quest series coming out this summer, as well as showing the Dragon Quest XI Definitive Edition coming to Switch, as it was shown at the Square Enix one, followed by showing a new gameplay trailer of Luigi's Mansion 3 coming out this year. There was then a trailer for Netflix's new tactical game of Netflix Dark Crystal Age of Resistance. A new trailer was shown of the remake of Link's Awakening, showing more gameplay elements along with new chamber dungeons coming out September 20th, 2019. So then there's the Trial of Mana coming out in the West in early 2020, with the original 3 coming to Switch via Collection of Mana. Witcher 3, the complete edition, is coming to the Switch in 2019.
Oh my god, don't make me buy it again.
Fire Emblem 3 Houses had a story trailer for its release July 26, 2019. Resident Evil is coming to Switch, both 5 and 6, in this upcoming fall. No More Heroes 3 had an announcement trailer coming out 2020. Contra Rogue?
Yep.
Rogue, yeah. Contra Rogue Corp is coming out September 2019. With the Contra Collection now available. Yes, you can get the Contra Collection now. There was a trailer for Daemon X Machina coming out September 13, 2019. Panzer Dragon had an announcement trailer for Winter 2019. A story trailer for Astral Chain was shown with the release date August 30th, 2019. A game called Empire of Sin was showcased coming in 2020. I think that was by John Romano. July 19th, we will see Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, but out right now is the new Cadence of Hyrule. You can't beat that. If you want to sport something else, there's Mario and Sonic the Olympic Games, Tokyo 2020, coming out November 19th. A light gameplay trailer to show the new Animal Crossing New Horizon coming out March 2020. Then there was a highlight reel showing more games coming to the Switch, which included, but not limited to, Ni no Kuni, Minecraft Dungeons, My Friend Pedro, Doom Eternal, The Sinking City, Wolfenstein, a game called 5, like Roman numeral 5, Alien Isolation, and more. Then, in something that can only be called a rare move, they had another Smash character announced with Banjo-Kazooie DLC coming out the fall of 2019. With that linked to the top of the show there, Nintendo actually ended with showing a Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild sequel, saying it's in development. It was like a teaser trailer. Whew.
Oof.
Okay, so what do you want to talk about first?
Yeah. Let's start at the top.
Okay.
Let's start.
I feel like the Nintendo one is going to be our biggest part here because they had a lot.
Hey, their Direct was so full of enjoyment and excitement. It was Marie Kondo. It brought me so much joy.
That you just want to throw all the other press conferences away?
A little bit.
What about Square and Final Fantasy VIII, my dude?
A little bit.
What about Selfa?
Square kind of rope it back. Rope it back.
Take 10% off the top there. What about this Final Fantasy VII trailer, my dude?
Hey man, it was great. It was really good.
Yeah.
But I'm saying the joyness of the situation that was Nintendo.
Okay.
They even brought the new president in for a little segment.
Oh yeah.
It was all fun and games. Bowser.
Yeah.
Doug Bowser.
Doug Bowser. Yeah, that was.
How coincidental is it that you are now the president of Nintendo America and your last name is Bowser, named after one of the most iconic people in Nintendo's history?
I mean,
he's not named after him, obviously, but
just imagine you will become Bowser one day.
Our history name is Bowser, and you will take over Nintendo, and you will destroy Mario. If there's ever a game that comes out now where Mario like dies and then you have to like avenge him as somebody else, we know whose fault it is.
I really hope there's another Bowser game coming out like Mario and Luigi and Bowser's Inside Story, where Doug Bowser just has the ability to make a joke now, of like, they're not going in my body, or they're like, I'm not gonna be able to venture with Nintendo's Mario and Luigi, but this guy will, and it shows Bowser again, ready to do, you know, where it's like Bowser has a new job, you know.
That was a funny introduction though. I think we got the names confused. It's not you they're talking about.
Yeah, it does. Like, that was okay. So you want to start with the Dragon Quest?
Yeah, start with the showing of the new Smash Brother, the hero from Dragon Quest.
Yeah, what you think?
As a sword-based character in Super Smash Bros., I'm excited. The whole lead into him showing up and helping Link, that was real dope showing, and his playstyle looks like it's gonna be fun. My only question is, are all the heroes coming, or are those just skins? It looked like those were different movesets a little bit while they were doing the gameplay trailer for it. I mean, I don't feel like they would just launch, like, what was, like, 6 people?
4.
Like, to Dragon
Quest.
You
got Dragon Quest 11, that's the Luminary. That's the main dude who comes in. Looks like Trunks from, what's that series? One Punch Man.
Oh,
you also have,
guys.
You also have, the hero from 8, which is my favorite. I think 3, and I want to say 6, but I could be wrong.
It's crazy though, because they just,
or 9, something like that.
I'm sure they're all like just shadow players.
Yeah, I don't think. Who knows? Maybe it's like no, because they removed that. Like, I was gonna say, like in Smash, how Zero Suit and Samus is like the same, but once you change, you know.
Yeah.
But then that's actually different now, because
they separated them.
Yeah, they're separate. So yeah.
Just like they did Sheik and Zelda.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Sheik?
Like legit Sheik?
Yeah.
Oh, I've been saying it wrong the whole time.
You say a lot of things wrong, so
no.
I wouldn't be surprised.
No, I've been saying Sheik. But yeah, I'm not even joking on that one. that's not a joke on that. But yeah, like, I think they're gonna be different skins. They look like different skins a little bit. I think they were just showing like the up B and down B kind of thing, or your B moves kind of. It was like attacks. They had your standard attacks, and then they showed your special, and then they showed the Smash attack, which was all the heroes, or like the heroes that are not in Smash, coming together.
To whoop that ass.
Yeah, 9, which is funny because not all of them are sword-based users. If you look at that, like, there's that one dude who's carrying the staff. And you're like, no wonder you couldn't be invited.
Can't put a sad player in this game. It's swords or fists. That's where we're going. Swords, fists, and blasters. Such a weird game sometimes. Or bird.
Yeah.
Just random bird.
Yeah. So I think that trailer was really good in like showcasing it, and I'm excited for that. I'm not gonna get a Switch because of this, mostly because in the future someone has told me, hey, if you wait 3 months, wait a few months, and I move in with you, you can use my Switch, and I have a season pass. And I'm like, yes, I'm waiting. It saves me money.
Stealing somebody's Switch. That's the thing to do.
Oh, yes. Do not actually steal a Switch. It's like, do not kill a baby. Same thing, please. Don't do that.
Do what you gotta do.
No!
That's the motto in life. Do what you gotta do.
No.
Do what you gotta do.
Anyways, so yeah, there's that. And then Luigi's Mansion 3. I personally want to talk about that because I like Luigi's Mansion. Apparently, it was scary for some people, but as a kid, it was one of those games. Okay, so I have this.
Maybe see that?
Yeah, I was 5 when I had it. It was one of the first games I got for GameCube because it was like packaged with it. Played it. It was amazing. I loved it. So I'm really excited to see 3 come out. 2, I wasn't too much of a fan of. But 3, it's like, oh, this is cool. You know, it's back to like a whole mansion kind of like hotel thing.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we really should stop letting these people go on vacation because stuff just happens. But there are certain elements where it's like, oh, that's cool. Gooigi, I like how the new vacuum is called Goo. Goo, you know? It's like, okay, I get it. I see what you're doing here. This is cute.
Nintendo.
It's a very... While one had more like of a spooky feel, you know? This one has more of a charming hotel ghost. It feels more like Ghostbusters. I want to say like the newest one, you know, where that one was like the female edition felt like more. What's the word I'm looking for? Lighthearted. Than like one, you know, where one's like they lose their jobs, they're doing this, you're trying to solve this, and then all the other stuff that they're doing. Well, 3 was like a lot like the reboot was a little bit more charming and just
it's more charming, more comedic, and
it's not better. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's a light.
I don't think anybody's saying you was.
Yeah, it's light. I know some people would.
It's gonna flame in the comments. What?
Yeah, but I'm just saying it's more lighthearted. It's fine. That's my general feel of like Luigi's Mansion 3. It's like lighthearted Ghostbusters, you know. So I'm excited for that and seeing the new stuff and the new like the plunger pulling that and then the burst mode that Luigi has with his vacuum.
It feels more Luigi. Like they're coming more into their own for the character for stuff like that.
Kind of, because yeah, it's one of those where even in the first one, I think the one thing they did there in the first one that I like was like Luigi doesn't say much, but he still has a lot of character with him. Like when he's scared, he's just shaking a lot, and when he's I love the thing where he's going for a door, he's just turning the handle, you know. So yeah, I'm like that's just my excitement for Luigi's Mansion, and yeah, that's another one I'm gonna get with the Switch. The Secret of Mana and Trials of Mana, that's coming out. They're having a Secret of Mana and Trials of Mana collection.
Yeah,
and
don't worry, I was about to bring that up.
Remaking Trials of Mana as well, which has never been
3, which never had an American release ever.
Which is
You know how many times I beat that game in the emulation? I know emulations are bad. Emulators,
we were younger.
Apparently illegal, but
we were
that was
younger.
the only way I can play the Japanese games and translate it because they would never send them over here. And we'll call it Trials of Mana now, is my favorite of the Mana series. It's such a good game. I would implore anybody to go back and play the SNES version of it.
It looks better than the remake of Secret of Mana.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, because I heard the Secret of Mana wasn't that great. But, you know, Square was like, okay, if it's not that great, here's the original and the collection re-release for Western audience.
Have
and
all
then
the
here's
games.
the remake of 3. We're sorry.
I was just hoping that
is
they
like
were
the
just
best
gonna,
apology.
Yeah, I was hoping they were just going to give us the game itself. I was having no problem just playing that, the collection of Mana, but to have the whole remake coming because so many people over here haven't played the game at all.
Oh, yeah, no, like I'm
really well done.
Fully, I want to get, because I like Square's, like, Squaresoft games as well. I emulated like some of their old games as well, and it was like, oh, these are fun co-op games. And now I actually have friends and an old place I can play games. And this sounds depressing, but it's like, yo, let me play Secret of Mana with like 2 other buddies. Let me because I have chairs now that I can just pop out, bust out the 2 controllers. Yeah. 3, I have a camouflage one, but I can't find it. Ironically,
it's one of the first.
I'm not even joking.
Couch co-op RPG games.
Yeah,
that
right.
You could play.
Like, let's all bust it out and play. You know. Oh man,
I wish there was more of those actually, because they just stopped making those for some reason. But one of the first couch co-op RPG games, 3 friends could play at the same time.
Yeah,
grow characters.
Like you need the SNES, like a
extended.
Yeah, but yeah, it's like, wow, I'm genuinely excited
Beautiful
for
game.
That.
Some of the best music. I'm a big gaming music fan, especially RPGs, especially Japanese RPGs.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of the most beautiful soundtracks. All games. I love it.
Hey, all more power to you. I'm going to play as well, too. And so because we're coming near the end of like our podcast and stuff, let's hit this real quick, which is this year's all the trailers, how they had a certain feel for them, which was most of them, if not majority, were CG trailers.
Yes.
Yeah. It didn't feel like we got much gameplay, which is why the Nintendo trailer felt like really good.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of gameplay, but overall I don't see many that I'm like, oh, you know, I'm really down for that, you know?
I think it makes you more excited because what you also know, when you get gameplay, you know it's not too far off in the future.
Yeah.
It's not like I just showed you a game you're not going to get for the next 2 years.
Yeah, I feel like it's weird because I don't think all these games will be at the Game Awards, you know, this year. But I do feel like a lot of the big games were like, hey, we're not going to say anything. We're going to just show you the CG trailer. And then later down the line, when we get closer, we'll show a gameplay trailer or something.
It's one of those teaser moments, but sometimes it hurts that you're like, oh, this game is coming. And then it disappears for like 5 years.
Like, I think we saw a rough gameplay last year of Astral Chain. This year it was more the story trailer, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. Although I would like to see like a mix between the two. Like, show me how this is gonna play, you know? I think that was the same with what was it? Animal Crossing did a well job. I think it was No More Heroes 3. No More Heroes 3, I was like, oh, this is an announcement trailer. Yeah.
It was basically an announcement trailer. It's like, look, it's coming
doing
back.
It. Yeah, we're doing it. That's about it. That's all we can tell you. We're doing it.
I just think the other side of they serve the place because they need it's a flash in the pan to make it just be like, wow.
Yeah.
Look at this. And then show you the ones that are actually closer in development as well as have gameplay.
Link's Awakening, stuff like that, you know. It's just something I want to touch on real quick. How did you feel about Nintendo overall?
Nintendo's press conference?
Yeah, Nintendo's Direct. Their E3 Direct.
Like I said, it's very joyful. It had a very lighthearted feeling to it. They showed you the changing over of the company and a lot of trailers, which you're supposed to have. A lot of trailers. Unless I would say acting on the stage.
I mean, yeah, like they still had a good amount of acting because it's the cheesiness of like Nintendo's Direct.
Too.
You know?
They did also talk about a lot of games we already knew about, but it was cool to see them again.
So I'm curious from your perspective. Now let's wrap up this E3 talk, which is, who do you think did the best this E3? I know a lot of people like say, "Oh, it's not about a competition or stuff," but I'm like, competition is good for me. Like, I like to see who has the better games. I want to be I'm super excited for this. Which one got you being like super excited? This is the one. These guys rock this E3.
I guess I would say, and especially, you can see polls out there too. General audience and me included believe Nintendo had the best showing.
Okay. I think what they do is smart because yeah.
I think Nintendo had the best showing, and then Square Enix had a huge lead going up to show that Final Fantasy VII was in full production with the remake. Yeah. And obviously Microsoft would go after that. Or they might be tied for some people. I think the rest of the show was kind of just generally there because they have to be there-ish. Yeah. I think it was smart on probably PlayStation's side to just sit this one out. Yeah. Because you can tell from last year's presentation that they had showed so much at PSX that when they got to E3, they really had nothing to give us except for 5 games. And they don't really have anything else to tell us now, especially working on architecture for the PS5 and everything. And they might have their press conference again in December, so they just didn't show up at all.
Yeah, something like that.
I think it hurt the overall event that they didn't show up, but it's kind of smart of them.
I heard the numbers this year were lower than last year too, which sucks because, you know, a lot of people are there like, oh, I'm here for PlayStation and Xbox and Nintendo because, you know, even though Nintendo doesn't have press conferences, they have Direct. They're still on the floor. Xbox has the Xbox Hall, which they really like apparently, and Sony is just gone now. It's very weird to say that.
I heard floor-wise, Microsoft won that one.
Oh, that they had an amazing floor or something? Yeah. I agree with you. Like this E3, like looking back on it, I'm glad we took a week because if you asked me like the day of, I was like, oh, it's great. Like, this is amazing E3. This E3
best thing I've seen in my life.
Good. This is a great year, you know, and it's still good. I do agree, like, Nintendo probably was the best. Like, they brought the gameplay trailers, like, oh, yeah, Animal Crossing New Horizon. We can see what they're doing and stuff like that. And then Square, because they started strong, you know. I think they knew everyone was like, okay, is this going to be, like, the last time you've done this? But no, they started with, you know,
Final Fantasy. They switched up their whole game.
Oh, wow, okay.
They switched up their whole presentation style. It seemed like it might be like a kind of a, I wouldn't say cultural thing because Nintendo is just out there. Yeah. But Square is kind of like the mystique and kind of higher end, this is how we do things. And this year they were just like, nah, man, we're cool too. Yeah, we're cool. We're cool also.
Yeah. And then I think I would follow up with Microsoft. At the bottom, you like, honestly, I don't really care that much about Bethesda or Ubisoft this year. You can switch the two around and argue like, oh, one's worse because, you know, yelling, or you can say one's better because they had the creative director and one had a pit bull, so it was amazing.
Yeah, Ubisoft really just showed up to tell everybody that they're doing subscription service.
Yeah, and a couple games. Pretty much. And Bethesda was like damage control, like I said. Microsoft was still it was good, you know, it wasn't like horrible or anything.
That's what Bethesda had to show up to, because everybody was so pissed about Fallout 76 that they had to come and be like, hey man, we're working on it. Sorry.
Well, that's it, everybody. Remember, you can always follow us on Twitter. If you like this video, go ahead and share it and subscribe. That's all we really got to talk about E3. That's our reaction. Share it, subscribe. Let's get this channel growing. Our goal next year is to react to the press conferences and then maybe actually hit the floor. You know?
Walk around, interview people.
Also hit that bell to be notified when our next video comes out. Other than that, thanks for joining us, guys. We'll see you guys next time.
Thanks for tuning in. Take off.
So it's Tifa?
It's Tifa. You know this. You know it's Tifa.